Hey fam, welcome back to the More Sibyl Podcast, the show for curious, culturally complex people who are finding their voice in the in-between. Now today's episode is a little different because I have something important to share with you. It's back to school season, and while most people are shopping for school supplies and prepping lunchboxes, many of us, especially those parenting in immigrant or multicultural homes, are carrying invisible loads. Loads like advocating for kids who don't quite fit the mold, navigating behavioral concerns, or trying to make sense of school systems that were never designed with our families in mind. That's why the More Sibyl Podcast presents More Than a Backpack. It's a live discussion panel, and trust me, it's one you won't want to miss. The panel was born out of my own journey after a rough start to public kindergarten with my daughter. With what followed was a series of moments that left me feeling unseen, frustrated, and searching for community. So in true More Sibyl fashion, we turned that pain into purpose. We're joined by a powerful lineup of fellow parents and a developmental behavioral pediatrician. We plan to unpack the emotional toll of parenting through the school year. If you ever left a parent-teacher meeting with more questions than answers, or just needed someone to say, hey, you're not crazy, you're not alone, this conversation is for you. This panel will hold on Saturday, 19th of July, on all our streaming platforms. And of course, you can watch the replay. If this sounds like something your village needs to hear, go ahead and share. Let's make sure every parent carrying more than a backpack knows we see them. Now enjoy the show. Well, good morning, everyone. I am so stoked and deeply honored to share this moment with you all. Today on the podcast is someone that I'm super excited to share the story. We're having the honor of sitting with a remarkable guest whose life story is one of resilience, of excellence and legacy. He was born on July 7th, 1950. He's a distinguished oral and maxillofacial pathologist, an academic giant, and the former CMD, which is the Chief Medical Director of Lagos University Teaching Hospital, where I finished from. Despite the early loss of his parents and a brother, he rose above adversity, thanks in part to the sacrifices of his sister, to end up building a career marked by distinction and global recognition. He is also a graduate of the University of Lagos and Harvard School of Dental Medicine. He has spent over 4 decades shaping Nigeria's medical education and contributing to groundbreaking research in oral cancer and odontogenic tumors. He has held multiple fellowships, published extensively, and served on numerous professional boards, including the Academy of Medical Sciences of Nigeria. He is a proud father, husband, father of 4, grandfather to 7, and a man of deep values and unwavering commitment to faith, family, and service. In this episode, we'll talk about his early life, the driving force behind his academic success, his reflections on leadership and generational shifts, and the legacy he hopes to leave behind. Everyone, please join us in welcoming the legendary Professor Onatolu Odukoya to the podcast. Good morning, sir. It's such an honor to have you on here, and special thanks to your daughter, Dr. Omalayo, for making this happen. I am super honored to have you on the podcast, sir. Thank you. All right. We do on the podcast, we always like to start from the beginning because we believe that so many of our current doings and the way we've been shaped have been affected or been shaped a lot by how we grew up. So you were born in the 1950s and grew up in Lagos. What would you say were some of the earliest memories of your childhood in those early years?
Thank you very much. I was born into a very humble family, and my early days were spent at Sokumbo Street in Lagos. And one of the things that actually touched my life was the way my mommy approached life. The way she showed interest in neighbors, And one of these ways was to put a pot of water, filled with water, on a corridor where people pass, the corridor where many residents pass.
Mm-hmm.
There in Lagos there, at that time, for our own part of the family, very little, not many people have refrigerators and all kinds of things in that humble environment. So the water from that pot used to be very cold.
Mm.
And people just take water from that pot, drink, thank you, ma, and go. Thank you, ma, and go. And that I thought was, it helps me to believe that as you grow up in life, you should show interest in others. As you grow up in life, you must be generous with whatever you have. It doesn't matter how little. I think that was one point that was really very, that really touched my life. Then, of course, as we grew up, there were other issues, in my life. My daddy died when I was 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, at that time, my elder sister took responsibility of everybody. How many of us were there then? My elder sister was the most senior. My other two brothers. And he took care of all of us. And of course, I spent my early lives in a primary school in Lagos, Holy Cross Primary School, Holy Cross Cathedral in Lagos. And that was one period quite exciting. We had a lot of rascals in that school. And of course, the people used to call our school Oli Orepe. The very troublesome, rascally men were there. Some of them older than the normal school age. And they're fond of, harassing their teachers, especially at the end of the term, especially for those of them who didn't do well. All they need to do was try and harass teachers and so on and so forth. I think these are some of the areas I would like to touch on. There are others, but at least in order to allow more comments on other issues.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I imagine that the pot that you talked about, was it a clay pot?
Clay pot, yes.
Yeah, because only a clay pot can keep water that cold.
Yes, it's clay pot. It's clay pot.
Yeah. Wow. And how many siblings? So you talked about your elder sister. I'm sorry to hear about your dad passing.
Yes, my elder sister and two other brothers.
Oh, so you're the baby. You're the baby of the house.
I was the last.
Wow.
We had have brothers, but they were not staying with us there in Lagos Island.
Oh, wow. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for clearing that up. And so your sister and then two brothers and then you.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And shout out to your sister, by the way, for just picking up the slack. I can't imagine it was a walk in the park, being responsible for 3 kids the moment and then helping out around the house. You talk a lot about your sister, and especially how she shaped what you accomplished in life. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about that role she played and what her sacrifice meant to you?
Well, it's quite encouraging. She was a grade 2 teacher. in the primary school. And she will make some little contributions, a job, they call it in those days, with some other people, and whatever she is able to put together, she will use it to sponsor us. In fact, apart from keeping me in the school, in the primary school, and others in the various, she was helped us up to secondary school level.
Wow. As a teacher. Wow.
Yeah, she was a primary school teacher.
And must have been the good old days when they paid them really well, because
No, it was just whatever they were paying. You see, in my own case, I don't know whether we used to pay. I think primary school was free or something like that, but I can't remember. But I know secondary school was not free. Yeah, for primary school, one of the things that encouraged me to do whatever I was doing was because of the kind of support I was getting. I was always coming first in the class.
Yeah.
Just to encourage her to continue to do that. And of course, when I went to secondary school, which was Igbobi College, of course, there I know very well that you have to pay school fees.
Yeah.
And she still managed to do that. And she managed till I was in. I got to Form 4, and I was trying to move to the school start year, Form 5.
Yeah.
And that particular year, Form 4, 1967, I had the premonition that what if I'm not able to do school start because of the rest? I said, what if? Then that particular year, I put in extra effort. I got so many prizes, not only coming first overall, but I got so many other prizes.
Wow.
And of course, I got them home. I got the accolade from the family. Then I decided I will go and look for sponsorship, because up to that point, my sister was doing it.
Yeah.
Luckily enough for me, while I was searching around, going to my vice principal at the Igbobi College during that holiday period, to my vice principal at the Igbobi College, asking for help. I eventually got a letter to the secretary to the scholarship board, who happened to be an old Igbobian too. The funny thing was that during this period, my mother was wondering what was this boy going out to do every day, and he wouldn't tell anybody.
You're studying.
She didn't. My mother didn't know what I was. Because she was still alive then. That was 1967, December, late December. So I came back home with the assurance that I might be invited for food scholarship. Invited for a chat on food scholarship.
Yeah.
And of course, I disclosed that I couldn't disclose that to my mom. Well, because she was worried that I wasn't doing the house chores. And she was very upset with me. And of course, being upset with me, I didn't know what to tell her. Unfortunately, January 1968, she died. And that gave me a lot of concern. And I now had to think of, what do I do? I have to now disclose. Fortunately, while we were mourning and preparing for the burial, the letter for food scholarship actually came, offering me food scholarship. And that it was a case of joy and
then grief at the same time.
Yes, mourning.
Yeah.
Of course, with that food scholarship, I was able to do my school certificate. I mean, my Form 5 at Igbobi College. and use it
Then,
HSC.
wow.
So that was how that ended up, And when I even got admission into the university later on, it was this same my sister I had to go and meet. What do I do?
Wow.
Now, she looked around, looked for funds, and then I was able to get into get admission into University of Lagos to do dentistry. And the first year, she was able to pay because I needed to pay deposit in the school. Yeah, so she had to look for that money. But then after paying that deposit, I had applied for scholarship, a federal government scholarship, and I got scholarship to read medicine. And meanwhile, I was given admission for dentistry. I was, unfortunately, the guys said I couldn't use that scholarship. But good enough for me, Western State bursary was available.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'll use Western State bursary for the first. I think they used to give us 100 pounds or 100 naira or something, 100 something. All right. That's for the first. And I applied for dentistry and I came top in the scholarship. So with that, I was able to go through. So my sister meant a lot for me. She did everything to put me in the limelight. Let me hang on in the meantime so that we can ask other questions.
Sure.
But I can continue to talk
I know. I really want to hear about her. What's her name, and is she still with us?
She is Mrs. Elizabeth Iyabo Martins. She is still alive.
Wow.
She was 90 years old on May 29th, 2025.
Shout out to her. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Shout out to her. And
hello, my sister, if you are here. I love you. I appreciate you. I love you. I appreciate you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Now, it's such a story. I mean, despite losing your dad that early, and then your mom later on, and your sister stepping in, academic grief is something that we see a lot, right? And especially what you've gone through, because studies have shown that losing a parent, especially before that age 16, you can face significantly higher risk of mental health challenges and even academic disruption. Yet your own story defies those statistics. What thing kept you going? Not just even staying in school, but doing it so excellently well.
First of all, I want to assure you that it is only God. I used to be exceptionally prayerful and fasting. I used to fast a lot and pray a lot to be able to continue. And of course, destiny also played a role in my life. I think, like you said, I would have been mentally challenged and not being able to face the challenges of life. But for the fact that God intervened in my life, I was very spiritual. And of course, people far away from me may not know that. I was very spiritual, but I think more is the grace of God and the mercy of God that I received.
That helped you,
Yes, and destiny was in my favor. I think that's the way I would see it.
Thank you for sharing that. So faith and your relationship with God. My next question will be this: in Yoruba tradition, there's this concept called omoluabi, meaning being of good character and upbringing. And this often transcends formal education and it speaks to deeper values. Looking back, what values did your parents or even community instill in you that has stayed with you throughout your life?
But like I said, we were a humble family, a very humble family. My father was a local washerman, and my mother was Ugi seller. You know what Ugi is?
Oh, yeah, pap. Yeah.
That was what she was selling.
Wow.
But you see, even the little Ugi she was make it and sell it, you'll find her giving out some of these things, even to people who are wealthy, giving it like a gift.
Wow.
And of course, the people that the local people that sell things at that time, they have their bowl, and then they have like calabash in which they put they place the bowl, and of course when she sells anything, she puts the money inside that little calabash below that. The bowl of fresh part stays, and that's where the money sits. And nobody goes there to take anything.
Wow.
So you have to learn to be honest, sincere, and you don't steal. And then the kind of generosity that, you see, because I spent more of my years with my mom, so I can say that much about that. That humility. She was tremendously a humble person in all aspects, and he was very caring and generous to others.
Yeah.
And of course, and she loved us all. And some of these were values that I learned, especially from her.
Yeah.
And they've guided my life.
Yeah.
Be honest, and a honest person don't steal. When something is put there, it's not yours, don't take it.
Don't touch it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have to work hard. I used to pray and work hard. I was not only fasting and those things. I used to pray and work hard. She used to help me along with prayers too. I think these are some of the values.
Yeah. And those are great ones to live by. Thank you so much. Yeah. So initially you said you wanted to study medicine, but by providence you went to dentistry. Looking back now, if you could just change your educational trajectory, what would you have done anything differently?
I think, you see, I told you dentistry,
medicine,
destiny,
played
a major part. You see, God did it in such a way as to take me to that route. Because I don't want to take too much time, because if I start explaining some of these things, it will take a while. But I will put it in a nutshell. I wanted to do medicine, but when I finished my HSC, I had this grade: E in physics, E in biology, and C in chemistry for GCA level, and the same thing for HSC. In those days, you can hardly get anybody who had 3 papers.
At once,
And I wanted at a sitting.
Yeah.
So I had 3 in both sides, on the both GCA level and higher school certificate.
Yeah. HSC.
Exactly a mirror image of each other. No. So competition, whereas people will take 2 here and 2 here,
And then
use them to
they'll join.
So I was
Copy
only
and
able to
paste.
get in for the medicine. I was, you apply for scholarship and all those things before your results came out. So I'd applied for medicine thinking that when my results came out, at least I'd be good enough to go in for medicine. But at that time, dentistry was still relatively new in the environment. So when I applied for dentistry, I was eventually taken. And of course, when I went in, I decided, well, that's what I want to do in life. That's what God wants me to do in life. And I faced it. And now, how would you explain? If I had not gone into dentistry, probably I would not have been who I am. You can see, I got to the peak of my career professionally and became a chief medical director as a dentist.
Yeah. I think you were the first dentist, right? To achieve that.
I was the first dentist of Lutz.
Wow.
And probably in Nigeria at that time,
wow.
A chief medical director. So, I'm very sure there were more professionally competent colleagues friends of mine. If I had been in medicine, probably I would not have even been able to come out of that. But you see, God charted me through that route so that I can become what I want. That's why I said destiny actually favored me. Yeah, I think that is the destiny really put. So if I had any other opportunity, all right, I would have had to do dentist. Two of my children are dentists.
Yes. Shout out to them, Tolan.
Tokoya and sister. Both of them are dentists, and they're all doing very well. They're all specialists.
Yeah.
Tom was like me. Tom wanted to do medicine, but eventually ended up with dentistry, and she's a consultant restorative dentist now. Tokoya had always wanted to do dentistry, and she applied for dentistry, and look at her now. Destiny has put her to continue in that dentistry, and she's today an assistant professor. So, it's whatever destiny has done, it's not only limited to me now, it has extended even to my
kids. Yeah, and the impact is yet to come, generational. Yeah, I love how you framed it like, where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. I think a lot of us, we get stuck in that or trying to go back and be like, I wish I got this, I wish I got that. But where you are right now is where you're supposed to be. But not like resting on your laurels, but finding ways to keep improving on that. But if you were to look back, you'll see just moments where everything you hoped you wanted to be, and maybe it didn't end up that way, but where you are right now, there's still so much opportunity to, keep doing more and getting better at it. But it's also looking back with gratitude and knowing that everything will work together for your good, especially if you're a Christian. I strongly believe that. Yeah, thank you. I also like to add that your specialty is one that is highly specialized, right? We know that, take for example, oral and maxillofacial pathology is one of the most specialized fields in dentistry. I think in all of North America, there are fewer than 300 board certified specialists, and the field requires both dental and medical expertise, right? So kudos to you on all of that achievement. Now, as someone with that great expertise, what would you say were some of the challenges and breakthroughs you experienced in your career?
Well, in the first instance, how did I become how did I take into that course, into that program, into the specialty? I returned from the US, from National Youth Service Corps in Nigeria. And of course, I got a job in Lutz as a senior house officer, stroke registrar. And that department was Department of Oral Surgery and Oral Pathology. I joined that department, and of course, I was highly skilled in oral surgery, and I spent most of my time with the surgeons, the experts, the Professor QCs, the Professor Onatolu and co. They were all there at that time, and so I was spending more time with oral surgery than oral pathology, because there was no program, no residency program as such for oral pathology and whatever. And then Professor Adeyemi Musadomi, who was the oral pathologist, the first in Nigeria. All right, I happened to be the second. Yeah, he was the very first, and then I became the president. So he said he wanted somebody to send out for training to go and read oral pathology. All right, I looked around me. I said, I'm interested, sir. That's me interested will take me. And that's why I was converted from a senior registrar. I got an appointment as a research fellow too. And I was sent to Harvard. You see how destiny plays a role?
But you showed up, sir. You spoke up for yourself. You're like, hey, I'm interested. You said something.
So I was asked to go to Harvard for the oral pathology training program. And when I got there, Professor Gerard Schlar, loved me so much. He appreciated me. He was particularly into, you know why?
Why?
Because most of the things that they would have taught me, especially the gloss and all kinds of things, I had learned with the oral surgeons already. I was operating with them. I was doing also. So I will only get, you see, as oral part. I will do the operation with them, then, and I will bring the specimen.
Yeah.
And, cut up with my boss and all kinds of things, and look at it under the. So I was already doing some of these things that I should have learned extra. So when I got there, I was able to perform very well. I was doing very well, and he did all things possible to support me. I'm talking about Professor Gerard. He did, in fact, I will tell you for free, the course in oral pathology, all right, the course in oral pathology, I was exempted from taking it.
Wow.
And I was given the opportunity to teach it. That was how much he trusted me. He gave me one or two courses, some a few topics to teach.
Wow.
And give me a grade for my course. So I got a grade for the course because I went to, as one of his residents, I went to teach it. And then, of course, there were all other things that he did for me. I never had, for the 3 years program that I did, I never went for holidays once.
Wow.
So that, because each summertime, he will give me a project to do. And that project, I will undertake laboratory studies and so on and so forth. And then he will ask me, okay, this is the topic, go and research into it, write the introduction, and then, okay, we will build up the paper. And then if the paper gets published, he puts me as part of that paper. When you that our program, you are appointed a research fellow. Even as you are on that, you are a research fellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the Harvard program.
Yes.
You get in there as a research
fellow. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you are entitled research fellow all through. All right, and with that, I was building up papers. By the time I finished, he wanted me to spend 2 more years
Wow.
and take the doctor. They call it Doctor of Oral Biology there. And unfortunately, sponsorship at Harvard was not a joke for University of Lagos. University of Lagos said, sorry, we can no longer. I had to come back. So I finished with the Masters of Medical Sciences in Oral Biology and then a certificate of specialty training in oral pathology. And of course, one of the things that he did was he introduced me into cell culture tradition research. And the project I did for my master's, he said, see, this is why I said you should stay for your Doctor of Oral Biology, because this you can't do anything better than this. You don't need to go higher than this for whatever you want to do for your Doctor of Oral Biology. Now that we were doing this developing tumors in the oral cavity of hamsters.
Okay.
And the hamsters carcinoma was used a lot.
Yeah, as a model.
For studies. But at that time, not too many studies have been done on the cell culture of it. So they said we should try and establish a cell line from one of those carcinoma, and of course try and put back the cell line. Harvest the cells and put back into the animal and see whether they will grow. Right. So that was a very interesting thing which we did. And his own lab was not known for that cell culture thing. So we had to go somewhere else for another lab to do it. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I would say, the technician it's also at Harvard, the technician of that particular lab left the month that I started. So we had to come back to our own lab at the Harvard Dental School to continue with supervision of somebody, another senior person. So we were all not too deeply experienced. But then to establish that primary culture was not a problem. And the very day the culture was due to be transferred, the cell was due to be transferred into another plate, so that we can, which was the date of true birth of that cell line. We call it HCPC, hamster cheek pouch. HCPC means hamster cheek pouch carcinoma cell line. All right. The day we were going to do it, all right, do the transfer, I was supposed to do it myself. I got a call from mommy. She was about to deliver a baby. And it was that day that Tom was born. But then it was that day that I said, please let me do this thing I want to do before I come. And make sure I transfer first. And that culture was established. So that culture was established the same year, the same day that Tom was born. And of course, that cell line has been something that, yes. So, and it was a significant breakthrough.
Yeah.
Because
your research,
yes, it was research-wise. We were able to do some of these other things, characterize the cell line and put it back into animal. It grew again and so on and so on. So it was quite an exciting. And then, of course, it made sure for legacy and for record that work was published in the Journal of National Cancer Institute of the U.S.
NCI, nice.
I'm telling you, it's still so that was that's why I always refer, that's the highest journal I've attained in my life, and I'm very grateful to God for it. and very thankful to Professor Onatolu. He's late now, but I remember him. Let me stop there in the meantime so that you can
I have so many questions. And thanks to our guests joining us. We are still catching up with Professor Odukoya. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat. So you went back to Nigeria.
Yes, I went back to Nigeria.
Practice, right?
After
Nigeria,
3.5 years or so.
Yeah. Nigeria loses, last time I checked, and this statistic might still be a little bit askew, loses approximately 2,000 doctors annually to immigration. Yet you chose to return. And the time you even went back, I mean, the economy was a bit more stable than it is right now. But you just didn't go back. You actually went back and you built a lot of infrastructure that I believe, and I think a lot of us to believe, has really shaped medical and dental education in Nigeria. What would you say were some of your biggest challenges transitioning back to Nigeria's academic system, especially after having small time, it seemed, in Harvard?
It was truly a big challenge. Now, I went with, at that time, that's the biomedical research. I came back to Nigeria. I joined the program. I joined the arrangement that we had on. But for research, it was tough. I wanted to start, first of all, the animal research and develop the tumors, just as we are doing with carcinogen. I had problems. One, I said I needed a hamster. Those rodent hamster with They couldn't get me hamsters. Somebody eventually got me hamsters, one or two, of course, and they were keeping it like so as to nurture them. Somebody frustrated that effort, and then I was given terrible names. Mr. Carcinogenesis, Mr. Hamster.
Wow.
All kinds of names by colleagues. I said, what's for this? Then somebody challenged me. He said, if you know you are truly a Harvard man, why don't you get other sources? Must it be hamsters? So I thought, I first of all thought of using, I don't know what you call it, Okete. I can't remember the name for Okete in English. Can you remember the name for Okete? Okete this is a bush rat. The
bush rat, yeah. Cane rat, rodents.
It also has pouch, but it has a little pouch inside too that they put
stuff in. Can help with the cell line.
I can't use it because very, very dangerous. So I decided to settle for rats, spray dolly rats, which trying to produce that carcinogen, using that carcinogen to print their palate with the hope that I could develop some nice, some nice tumors. It was tough. Nobody to take care of. Where they put me, the little lab I was using, it was where they put all the NEPA lights, all the NEPA connectors. So so research wise, I had challenges. Then I said, okay, what do I do? What about my skill in cell culture? I tried. It was tough too. It was tough. Then one day I sat down in my office and wrote a research grant with Commonwealth Medical Fellowship grant to go and use it to do something in Glasgow. And of course, eventually I was able to do that. And I went there to establish another kind of cell line, rather than genic epithelial cell line. And of course, unlike in the US here, where the HCPC one cell line became very popular, and people were using it for a series of research work and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, that cell line that I established in Glasgow, I didn't hear much about it. My boss there then eventually died, and of course, anyway, I spent one year, came back. I was already a senior lecturer. So, research-wise, I had to now concentrate on whatever was available in terms of epidemiology and all kinds of things, and some laboratory studies that we use histochemical stains and immunohistochemical stains and so on and so forth. So that was the way that went. But then I was able to do so much in terms of teaching.
Yeah.
And the students loved my teaching so much. They loved my teaching. They loved it so much that even when I became a professor, and I think in 1996, by 2016 or so, the students, you can imagine how many years I've been a professor. I've been teaching them. The students got together and gave me an award as the best lecturer.
Wow.
Before they were not organized for such a purpose. But for the first time they were organized for such a. So if I've been teaching as a professor for nearly for that period of time, and I still got an award as the best lecturer, just to tell you how much. So a lot of people became encouraged and mentored by me. They love my teaching. They love the way I do it. They love the way I relate to them. And I was able to attract a lot of fans. Let me say fans, who today you will refer to as mentees.
Yeah.
All right. All over, across various disciplines, specialties in dentistry. I have many of my mentees all over the world. One day, a lady came to me. She was a nurse, and she told me, my doctor is always talking about you. I said, who is this your doctor? If at that time I didn't remember very well. That's somebody who passed me, and she was not doing oral pathology.
Wow.
But she was in the US, but that she would always talk about whatever I have done, all the things that the kind of mentorship I gave them. Some of these things you do naturally. I do it because I believe whatever you do to your neighbors and others, all right, if it is bad, you and your children will reap it. If it is good, you and your children. So some of the mercy that my children get all over the place is as a result of some of these things that I have been doing that I didn't. I thought I was just doing for free, But I thank God for that. So this is the story on that side.
There's so much to unpack from there. I think what I just learned was your ability to adapt back, because you contrasted your experience in Harvard where the lab was set up. You probably had a lot of help, people taking care of the animal models for you while you do the research, but coming home, having to even explain the importance of what you were doing, and even the names they were giving you, that didn't deter you. You found a way to work around it. So being able to adapt and be resilient is one of the things I took from your story. So thanks for sharing that. Moving along, you have made a lot of strides. Being I think you said second oral pathologist, maxillofacial in Nigeria, yes. And research also shows that less than 5% of professionals reach, C-suite positions. And in academia, the path to becoming a CMD involves decades of progressive leadership development. And you did it at one of the top universities in Nigeria, actually the best university in Nigeria, as a dentist, rising to the ranks of CMD. What do you consider the most defining moment in your career so far?
See, let me tell you, how did I become a CMD? And yes, I was a dentist. That is the first. The one I told you, part of my background.
Yeah.
I used to work with the surgeons, so I understood very much the use of the theater, the use of all those things and all that. All right. And then, of course, I did a laboratory specialty, somewhere, but it's clinic and all right. And then, of course, with Dr. Schla, it was the Department of Oral Medicine and oral pathology. So it would take us to his clinic to do his clinic. So I also ran, in addition to diagnostic pathology, I also ran some clinics. All right? You could call it oral pathology clinic. And then another time, we were doing it in collaboration. So there was need to relate to a lot of consultants, all right, in the hospital, in other specialties. Where they do referrals to them, they do referrals to me, and so on and so forth. And this time around, I was an acting dean, College of Medicine, in 1995 or so, 1995 to 1990. Part of 1998. And Professor Onatolu, who was the Chief Medical Director of youth, said he needed somebody to be a coordinator of laboratory services in youth. And he said his mind went to me.
Wow.
Think of mine, because I think maybe he had interest in dentistry because one of the daughters was in the dental school. I'm just guessing. I don't know how it came about, but he saw. And I said, I'm acting college dean now. A period I was going to be for 3 years, and of course, that was my third year. He said, "No, you can do it. You can combine the two."
Wow.
So I said, yes. So I decided to go and assist as coordinator of laboratory services. All right.
Yeah.
And within a short while, about 2 months or 3 months, the term of the next to the CMD, who was the chairman medical advisory committee, like director of clinical services.
Yeah.
Our term was going to end. And Professor Odukoya said, "Look, you are going to be the acting chairman of medical advisory committee." All right. By that time, my term as acting college dean was going to be over. Acting college dean, because if you are not a full professor,
you can't move on to full.
You can't become the full dean.
Yeah.
So that's how I came in. All right. And of course, I had not done my interview for chair, which actually was backdated to 1996. Now, while I was doing the work of the acting chairman medical advisory committee, just let me put it in the short form. He had to travel. What do you call it? Professor Odukoya was appointed minister of health at Abuja, Federal Minister of Health. And then, of course, he said, well, I should be the one to take over the acting position of the Chief Medical Director. Of course, at that time, I had finished my acting college intern, acting Chief Medical Director. And I said, okay. I took it up. Eventually, he finished his term. The period of his ministerial position ended, and then, of course, rather than coming back, I was given the opportunity to continue as Chief Medical Director and confirmed from 1998. So you can see that how I got there, it is also destiny. It's not me. I did not apply for it. I did not compete with anybody for it, and I just got it. But then, that also gives you the next issue. If you get to a position through that means you are going to face challenges.
Yeah.
So to some, being a dentist and a chief medical director was new. Probably some didn't feel comfortable, and I had series of challenges. But because of the background that I said I had no problem in settling down. And to God's glory, I was chief medical director for 2 terms, 4 years each, altogether 8 years. That is what God has done. That's what destiny has done.
Wow.
Done for me. So
wow.
Challenging thing was getting there, and then of course going through 8 years. Of course, going through 8 years because of those challenges that you
had. Yeah.
That you can see that workers will come up almost every time going on strike for one thing or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there were cases where people say, people are wondering what is happening in Dot. What is happening in Dot?
Yeah.
Sometimes, for no reason. And then one of the leaders said, one of those union leaders said, you happen to be a sanitary worker. Was the leader of the union workers union. He said, Oga, when we say Odukoya must go, can I take your position? You need to think about it now. And somebody else must be pushing. I never bothered to ask who was responsible for some of these things.
Yeah.
But I thank God I survived it all. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing all of that. And I think the sobering thing is...
people can read more about this loot experience.
In your book, yes, which we'll talk about soon. Thanks for sharing that. I'm just curious, how would you describe your leadership style?
Well, I think I would describe my leadership style as being humble leadership, leading by example, and always ready to negotiate. Always ready to talk. But you see, because I knew where I was, and I knew the challenges one could face. I learned one thing from that position, which actually modify my life. And I want people to look at this way. Usually, as the chief medical director, you direct all affairs. The box stops on your table. And that's why the workers will tell you, whether you are given money to pay us or not, we don't know them at that, we only know you.
Yeah.
So we will harass if we don't get our salary in time. Now, because of this type of situation, there was one big strike, worker strike. And of course, we were summoned to Abuja. I, as the chief medical director, and my team, the members of the union, the PAMSEC labor was there, and then Adams Oshiomhole was invited, a big one, was invited, and all kinds of things. And I was so upset. I will explain that, look, I did this for them. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did that, I did this. Instead of saying we did it, instead of saying we, I said I.
Yeah.
And then the PAMSEC said, Prof, that is the issue. So you are acting alone. And I said, no, I said, with everybody else, of course, we used to have meetings, management meetings, to take decisions, but when decisions are eventually taken, it's me who will face the fire. So I was saying, I said, it is not you alone, but we. So as a manager and as a leader, we must try to do what we call collective responsibility.
All right.
In fact, some people, if you read some of my testimonials, some of the testimonials given in that book, one of the past chief medical directors somewhere else, not in Lagos, all right, believed that I was his mentor, and of course that he learned a lot from me, my style of management, because I was able to, at the depth, when at the peak of crisis, I will call, if you see the union, the way they behave as if they are going to swallow you, just because of salaries anyway, which was not given to us, and we have to explain. I would say before starting any meeting, I would tell them, please, if you know this song, all right, sing along with me. If you don't know it, just listen, I will explain. All right, before I start, I say, Wonu mi o, Emi mímọ́ Ọlọ́run, wọnú mi o, kó wá bá mi sọ̀rọ̀, and so on and so forth. I will sing that song, all right, trying to minister to them very quietly. And they will These are some of the styles, and of course, a number of things. I remember as a leader, there was a crisis. I use the crisis as an example because those were the challenges. Putting the infrastructures and all those things that I did, those ones were not that difficult, all right? But one of these challenges were, some people put something fetish somewhere, which kept all the people in that.
Wow.
Nurses, especially the senior nurses, they couldn't enter into their offices and so on and so forth. And then, of course, I went to that. I said, what's happening? I saw the fetish thing there. And I said, I'm a child of God. I stretched my hand. I said, I'm going to pray. After praying, I said, don't follow me. If I go and I perish, let me perish. If I go, all right, cross that thing, and I'm all right, you can follow me. I stretched my hand, and I prayed, and I walked alone across. And then they clapped, followed me. You can imagine. So, everything possible as a leader, you push it. Let me stop. Meanwhile, you can read more about some of these
things. Book, yeah. Thank you so much. Before we get to your book real quick, I wanted to ask about just your thoughts on medical education and healthcare in Nigeria today compared to when you started, right? There's been a lot that has been going on. We've seen definitely some improvements in the rise of technology and how that is transforming healthcare and even academic the academy itself in our parts of the world. But what do you think are some of the most significant shifts you've seen in medical education and healthcare in Nigeria today compared to when you started?
First of all, I think medical education during our own time, we had fewer lecturers, experience from all over the place. They were very good lecturers, professors, all doing their best. We as students, there were not that many. It was easy to know who was in class, who was not in class. In terms of the social aspect of it, we were housed and fed, right? We were
housed and fed?
Yes, we were housed. We had hostels and so on and so forth. And as medical, yes, there was a time we lived at the outside hostel. Then, of course, we can live at the inside hostel. Two in a room, and chicken and all kinds of things. Call it, name it. And at the weekends, we were given something. They would squash. Each person gets, I think every week or every other week or something like that. So, in terms of taking care of our environment and comfort and everything was there. And then we were taught, and including my own, well, that no longer exists here by the time I came back, because things have changed. So students were not as comfortable as that. They were choked and all kinds of. But then is the kind of learning we were taught how to think. Reasoning, scientific reasoning to make a diagnosis. Scientific reasoning to reach a diagnosis. All right? Systematic, everything. All right? Now, and that was the approach that I took too. When I came back, I would follow, even though if I could get to the class and just throw some slides on histopathology. No, I wouldn't do that. I would start with a lot of clinical photographs, all right, of the patient, and build it up into radiological presentations, build it up into histopathology, and explain why this thing that you see in histopathology occurred in the clinical antecedents that I gave them. That was the kind of reasoning, and so there was a logical thing.
Yeah.
But with time, things have started changing. They call it integrated medical, whatever, or integrated, whatever they call it nowadays. Ideally, it's supposed to help, but I don't know to what extent it's helping. In fact, for those of us in dentistry, my own period, we were doing head and neck, anatomy, head and neck, abdomen, no limbs, and so on and so forth. And then subsequent training allowed, in subsequent relatively newer group, they had the whole body anatomy and so on and so forth. And you know what that means? It was supposed to help you when you are doing your medicine and surgery later in life and so on and so forth. But without that, we were able to do that. All right. But so all those things were very nice. All right. But when they started this integrated medical knowledge, it was becoming more because people who were doing the training did not take it as part of their own course in life. Things have changed. And of course, here in the US now, what I have observed is that people are getting too laboratory dependent.
Oh, I see.
Yes, that's my observation. And I'm sure very soon Nigeria will also be following it, such that it is only from lab results that you don't have to really think the logical reasoning. And I discussed it with some of my colleagues here, that I said the way teaching are going is a little bit different. When they have to see all kinds of laboratory results from A to Z before they can give you a diagnosis. In those days, you examine a patient, you take out the radiology, people will do what they want to do. The whole idea is that they are doing this with the hope of, well, I don't know whether it's. I'm not particularly excited about it, because I love the way that kind of thinking, where you have sequence in your reasoning from the live patient to some x-rays, you don't depend too much. You can only use the laboratory finding to confirm further. But here, the laboratory finding is what
is used,
helps them with the diagnosis.
Yeah.
So medical education is changing all over the world, including Nigeria too.
Yeah.
But because of the background, let me tell you this for free. because of the background of the teaching that we used to give them in Nigeria, anywhere our students go, anywhere in the world, they are always able to adapt to the new system. And they become stars. Because, they become stars. But at least we have to move all to that, to the same level anyway. Please go ahead.
No, thanks. I mean, it's, as we were talking about the good old days, the housing and the feeding, contrasting that to what I experienced in Luz many years ago when I went there. So now it's almost like two different places. It could have been two different environments as well. But I am also encouraged by just, the talents that we have back home, and hopefully the tides return, because it's so different from how you explained and the experiences you had. But I'm also curious to know, do you have any concerns for the future of education, especially medical education in Nigeria?
Well, I apart from the fact that people are leaving, good materials are leaving the country.
Right.
A lot of good materials that we should retain are leaving the country. And of course, it's almost getting to a climax nowadays. But then the environment has to be right for people to come back. I'm sure Nigerians will always be willing to come back and do something in the country if the environment is right. I mean, I can see the effort is being made by the government. I know right from my period, all right? Like since we inherited the dilapidated structures and so on and so forth, and Professor Onatolu before me tried, even as minister. And then, of course, from that time, the environment engineering something modification, where they have new equipment introduced came up, which I followed for about 8 years too, until things are nowadays more infrastructures are coming in, more equipment are coming in, and the new CM. By the way, the new CMD of youth, is a dentist too.
Oh wow! So you paved that way.
Yes, the dentist, and I'm Professor Onatolu is the dentist. And I'm very happy about that.
Yeah,
one of these, that's about almost 20-something years
later.
20 years after.
Wow.
So I think this is the kind of situation. All right.
Yeah. Segue before we talk about your book and your family life, Obi. As someone who has lived through multiple technological revolutions, right? Maybe let me start by saying this. We see with the advent of AI, right? We could see that I think they've predicted that it could automate about 30% of medical tasks by 2030. Now, as someone who's witnessed the evolution from paper records to digital systems, what's your perspective on the rise of AI in medicine, in research, and also in education?
Well, I'm concerned.
How so?
I'm concerned because most of the things that are done and supervised from the beginning to the end by humans, they will be taken over by the AI. And of course, that means a lot. So and of course, AI is mechanical, electrical, and all kinds of things put into place. It can fail anytime. Don't tell me it can never fail. It can fail. All right? Because all those who did the planes and so on and so forth never expected that the thing would just come down the way it's coming down nowadays. So it can fail. So if it's a human being, all right, if the first human being, I mean, you don't go there to operate alone. If you want to operate, you operate with colleague and assistants. So if one is, even the head may be having some issues.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the head of the team will be having some issues, and then maybe the younger one that can say, so why don't we go this way? It has happened. And then a clever person will follow. But when it comes to the AI as a surgeon, AI as robot as a surgeon, because this is where we are going. I mean, as a surgeon or as a clinician or whatever, they may be accurate to some extent, but where there is a failure, we have lost the patient before any correction can set in. In fact, if there are issues, it's still the human being that will come. But you see, the need for the specialists, the need for all those experts will not be that much again. You rather invest on robots to do the job than to employ somebody who's going to keep thousands, and then you now millions and millions per annum, and then you now find people losing their job, and that's what I expect. Yes. Yeah. Fewer specialists, and then less interest, and so on and so forth may come, except the robotic thing is controlled, heavily controlled. Yeah. So I think that is my worry about AI, and of course I've told you with this type of laboratory tests only, all right, laboratory tests only is what comes before the doctor now.
Diagnosis,
then the diagnosis comes. You see, so it's still part of the AI-driven thing. Yes. So I think this is the only thing that gives you worries about it. But it will be helpful, as the last stage in the confirmation of diagnosis. But as preliminary diagnosis, here probably you have money. There is a lot of funds available to support health and so on and so on, to support some of these programs and so on and so forth. But it comes, that's why, things are very expensive back there in Nigeria. If you want a very good, excellent care with all these sophistications around them, you pay a lot. Yeah. As some people in Mushin or whatever, who is a well-trained doctor, could manage as much. And then, of course, the final stage may be for confirmation over there. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. That's a balanced perspective to have. Cautious optimism about it. Now let's talk about your new book. I think you said that first-time authors often discover that writing unlocks new forms of expressions and reflection, and then the process itself can be quite transformative. What inspired you to write your new book, and why now?
Okay. Now let me explain one thing. This is not the first book that I have written, but this is the first
biography. Yes.
There's a book on oral and maxillofacial pathology and oral medicine by Onatolu Odukoya and some other people. It doesn't have as wide a circulation as this, but this is on me, and I want to let you know this. It is a biography and not an autobiography. I give the information, I give everything and approved, but I employed the services of biographers, 2 biographers, and you can see them. If you see the book, at the back of the book, you will see the 2 biographers. All right. They came to put, they both have a PhD in English from University of Lagos. And of course, they put to the, and you see, so that's one, to let you know that it is a biography,
not an autobiography.
Not an autobiography. And if I did not do this, it will take some time. In the sense that I myself, once you get to the age of 70 years and you retire from university, things slow down. And I believe in one thing, that the story of my life, the kind of people that I mentored, my family, my faith, my general experience in life should be well documented. And of course, it has taken so long. The story would not have been complete until I retired. And of course, yes, and then there was no way. I was such a very busy person during my active pre-retirement period that I could not sit down to do this type of thing. I had people I was supervising, projects I was supervising, people I had to teach, I have to go and examine here, I have to do this, I have to do all that kind of things. But after retirement, even though I was still doing some of these things, gratis, all right? Some of these activities gratis in Nigeria, I felt there must be a time that this must come. And I said, all right, by the age of 75 years, if God gives me the life, I will make sure this is done. So I started working on this about 2 years ago. And of course, by the grace of God, it has come to fruition now. Thank God for that.
Congratulations. Congratulations. What do you hope readers get out of the book?
What we actually expect readers to get out of this book is to look at my humble beginning and see how destiny works, that has pushed me through life to attain whatever I am today. I want them to look at it and see the amount of challenges I faced at different levels. There was no level that I didn't face challenge, whether at the early stage, middle stage, I have always been facing challenges. Dedication to duties, hard work, being prayerful, and a very good family support. They are essential in building my life. And I want people to get it. And then, of course, my family. I want them to know about my family, because each of my 4 children gave testimonies. My wife, who's the pillar of our home, gave testimony. And you can imagine if you can stay on the 6th of June, 2025, our marriage was 45 years.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you very much. So, marriage being 45 years, people must learn how to do it so that you can live together for 45 years, for as long as your old age. I'm enjoying it now because all these things that are being put together by my children and my wife.
Yes.
All right. That's a result of what I've achieved in life.
Yeah.
Without them, I would not have been. Do I know much about all these podcasts and all kinds of things?
Yeah.
So I think people should learn that. They should learn about family values.
Yes.
They should learn about hard work, dedication,
Mm.
and the fact that if you are a humble person, you will go many miles.
A long way. Yeah.
And if you have a humble beginning, it doesn't preclude you from reaching the peak of your career. Nobody must give up. Struggle through life. And don't forget prayers. I believe in prayer. Let me just quickly put this.
Sure.
There's one aspect of my life that I don't want anybody to miss.
Okay.
When I was facing too many challenges as Chief Medical Director, I was a prayerful person all over the world. We developed a system in my family. Wherever the children are, and we still do it today, wherever the children are, wherever we are, we pray together at least once every week, every Sunday, and then once at least once a month for the family vigil.
Oh, nice.
We still do it. We still do it today. Till today.
Nice.
So my family is very important to me, and prayers have helped to keep us alive. Thank you.
That is very great to hear. I want to ask a little bit about your wife. You've spoken about the role your sister played, and also your wife has been instrumental as well to your success. Because when you were traveling and building your career, and her raising kids and all of the just joint partnership and all that. Can you tell us just a little bit more about the role she's played in your success and how she supported you through the most challenging periods of your career?
Well, she is a fantastic woman who was very, very dedicated. And, I left Nigeria for the first time. We were married, and I think we had married June 6th. By 4th of July, I was already here.
Wow.
I was already in US for Harvard. And of course, she stayed over there. I mean, she stayed in Nigeria. She joined me 6 months after. Since she came to join me, we had 2 of our kids here, Tokoya and Tom. They were both born in Boston. If it were another person, I would not be able to do the kind of, because I will be out of the house from morning till night. Weekend, holidays, all right? And we did not have enough money to sponsor our own additional education. So she went into to do her BSc nursing at Boston University. But we didn't have enough money, even though she was put on this list and all kinds of things. We didn't have enough money to complete it. And when I was ready to go back to Nigeria, when he pulled me back and said, we don't have any more to do your Doctor of Oral Biology program. Come on, you have done this enough. She was able to go back with me. And today, God has blessed her, not only with 4 children, 7 grandchildren, and she worked as a healthcare specialist because she did occupational health eventually. And then she worked as a health specialist at Nestle till she retired.
Nice.
And she has done so much keeping the family together. She has done so much raising the children. When we're in Nigeria, she will call all the children that are outside the country every day. And now that we are here, those that are outside US, she calls them every day. Every day. I think she has been a pillar of my support, and I really appreciate her.
Thank you. And now for your kids, they've watched you balance everything and your career and family. And you've also alluded to just how your influence has also influenced their own career paths as well. What would you say you're the proudest of when it comes to your kids?
When you have, sorry, I didn't get it.
What are you the most proud of when it comes to your kids?
I'm extremely, very, very proud of them. Let me see. John is married with 3 children. All right. She's a consultant restorative dentist at the Randall Hospital in Lagos. Tope is an assistant professor of oral medicine here in Unipen with the hands-on Odukoya as the child. Tayo is in Canada. He's into so many things. That's the issue now. But he had his first degree in metallurgical and materials engineering.
Nice.
And second degree in that's master's in information technology, and my master's in information technology. He's in Canada. He's married to Ize. They have 3 boys. All right.
Yeah.
And they do very well. They have their business and all kinds of things there. And my last born, who was born after I returned from Saudi Arabia, Toby, is in Germany. He had his first degree in geology in Lagos, and he has just completed his master's degree in geology in Frankfurt University.
Yeah.
In Germany. They're all doing very well, and I'm very proud of them. And you can see they all put all these ideas about things about the book, the marketing, it's all put together by them.
Yeah.
God bless them. They are wonderful kids, and I'm very proud of them.
Yeah. God bless every one of them. Yeah. Oh wow. This has just been great talking to you and learning more behind the scene. You've done a lot, and your impact is one that is still reverberating across the world. Now, you've talked about your approach to leadership and the things you've helped in establishing some structures in place when it comes to medical and dental education in Nigeria. Now, for your children and grandchildren, what do you hope your legacy would, be like when all is said and done? What do you hope to leave behind for them?
Well, you cannot be talking about physical things. Because if you leave behind physical things only as legacy for people to watch over, then of course physical things will eventually degenerate.
Yeah.
No matter. But one thing I thank the Almighty God for them is that they all have faith in God. They all have faith in God. And of course, they are to learn about humility in life. They are to learn about leadership in life. They are to be generous in their approach in life. Reach out to as many people as possible. Help their neighbors. And mentor as many people as possible. They are to keep their family united and keep their own family united. Because if we can spend 45 years together they should also strive to spend as many years, even many, many more than ours, with their own family. God help them.
Amen.
And I pray that the blessing of God will be on each and every one of them. They are wonderful children, and I'm very proud of them. I think what they take away from me is not only physical, because physical, they know what
perish,
they know what we have as a family, but in terms of faith in God and knowing fully well that, you see, we always pray that destiny should favor us.
Yeah.
And we pray that destiny will favor them too. In the mighty name of Jesus. We have all the grace of God upon them.
Amen. Yeah.
Mercy of God. Thank you.
Thank you. For our listeners, if you have questions for Professor Odukoya, you can put them in the chat, because we're about to wind down. I'm never out of questions. I'm always curious to ask all kinds of questions, but I would like to honor our guests who have joined us, and we see a lot of you in the chat. So thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions for him? Earlier on, sir, you talked about just one of your concerns about the brain drain that we're experiencing, right? And an estimated, I think, 15 million Nigerians live abroad. That's significant intellectual and financial capital right there. And I imagine that being able to engage this diaspora can effectively transform Nigerians' development trajectory, like co-creating, stuff together, leveraging expertise across board, both local and diasporan talents. Now, do you still feel hopeful about Nigerians' future, despite all that's happening right now? And I'm curious to know why or why not.
I'm very hopeful about Nigeria.
Why?
I believe a lot in Nigeria. You see, now let me tell you this. I've been watching the political scene, and I know that if you have a good leader, things will move on well with Nigeria.
Correct, yeah.
Well, I've looked at our leaders for a while. Everybody's trying, or everybody tried. But for the first time, I see the President Tinubu, as a focused leader. Honestly speaking, I have been watching some of the things he's trying to do, which will reform and restructure the leader. The country. You see, if you were a very selfish man, he will do things that will just please the populace, and everybody will be hailing, and the country will come down into begins again. But he's taking hard and painful decisions, which will reform the program. And I know people should watch that. It's having hard and painful decisions. All right? Which many of our leaders in the past would think twice before taking. But see, being a politician as he is, it takes the decisions as if he does not care about what eventually will happen. But at the same time, as a politician, he's also working to reposition himself. So I see some of the things that he's doing as typical effort to reform the economy of the country, to give structure to many of the things we are doing, to give direction to what we are doing. I am really I'm not as an individual, I wouldn't say I've benefited much. But if there is anything, I think the landed property I have in Lagos, I got it when he was the governor, and I paid for it anyway. So, but But I know from what I've seen that he means well for Nigeria. And I just pray to Almighty God that God will guide him so that he'll be able to successfully carry out the restructure to the extent that people down the line will feel the effect. So I have a lot of hope for Nigeria.
That must be a whole lot, because many of us feel different from that. But
yes, it's because you have not gone in. You see, sometimes I'm being blamed for listening a lot because I like to listen to different views. But if you don't know, if you listen to social media, especially those who you know when you hate somebody, there's nothing good about that person. You will not be able to listen.
Yeah.
But if you, at least for people like me, I like to listen to all views. I like to see why, and I listen a lot. In fact, I've never been a politician. I've never joined politics, but I've always discussed politics in my life. So we are the armchair politicians.
Yeah. I'm yet to meet a Nigerian parent that doesn't discuss, especially daddies that doesn't discuss politics. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't cut you.
It's the reform.
Yeah.
Is going on. I mean, you imagine the issue of the Naira. A friend of mine told me 2 years before now that look, that country was going to go berserk, what do you call it? That country was going to fail. That you will see, Naira will become 2,500, something like that. And when that thing was done, it has stabilized up to where we are. And we are hoping that it doesn't slide down again. Definitely, some of these things are painful. The effect will be initially painful. But people talk about their lifestyle and so on and so forth. To me, security of our leaders is as important as our security as well. Yeah, they must secure themselves and make more effort to even give better security to us as well. So I am praying for them that they continue to do better. Yeah,
amen. And thank God that the future of the country doesn't lie in one man. Yes. I will remain a skeptic, but even skeptic and believers, we all have our roles, right? And I guess time will tell. So thanks for sharing that. For this last segment of the podcast, this is what I call rapid questions. I'll ask you rapid questions and then you just answer like whatever comes out of your mind. What's one surprising thing people don't know about you?
Many people don't know that I'm such a very faithful Christianly person. Many don't know.
I'm sure they know. Just 5 minutes into this podcast, you've talked about your faith. It's very evident.
How often have I spoken to people like this?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But we can see it. We can sense it. But it's good to make it clear now that you're a faithful, God-loving person. Like, what other things? Any hobbies that you like?
I don't know. I don't know what hobbies. I love church songs. You can see, even in times of crisis, I try and sing church song to try and persuade them and appease them. I love church songs. I don't have any other special hobbies. All my career, I've always been putting church music because that's the way I trained.
Yeah.
I developed.
Okay. So great educators don't just transfer knowledge, right? They help with shaping dialogue and so many things. So for upcoming educators who aspire to be great mentors like yourself, what advice would you give to them?
You must show interest in every person that passes through you, right from your student. When you teach in class, people watch you. They watch you and they watch your family. They watch everything about you.
Yeah.
Those that work with you, you must show interest in them and see how they live. Oh, how are you? If it's married, how is your husband? How is your wife? They love it.
Yeah.
Do you hear from your mom? You don't even know the mom. You hear from your mom? How is everything? How is everybody at home? You don't know them. People who are doctors and all kinds of things that work with you, show interest in their life, show interest in their patients, show interest in everything. And for me, I have mentees across all disciplines. I know somebody that one of them. I don't want to embarrass by putting the person on the line. Tomorrow, I'm like her daddy. Yes, she calls me daddy. She calls me grandpa. And the children, call me grandpa. All right, and that is how close I am to those to my mentees.
Your mentees, you get to know them very well.
Yeah, I get to know them very well. And of course, I expect those that are mentoring to do the same for those they will mentor.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in this new phase of life now, retirement, which can be quite stressful for so many people, right? Because at that point they fear, many high achievers fear retirement because they're worried about losing purpose and relevance. But that hasn't stopped you. You've been productive, and your form of engagement, I think, can offer a different model. What advice do you have for those high achievers like you who have made a lot of strides in their field, who are approaching retirement but also fear losing purpose or relevance?
Well, my advice to them is this. You see, before we retired, we attended several pre-retirement short courses, or short courses or seminars or something like that. No matter what they say there, it may not be applicable to you. Everybody has his own. It's like life. Everybody has his own life. The way it does. Somebody even advised us, told us about somebody who retired and started selling tutu or selling akara or something like that.
Wow.
And he kept doing that, and it doesn't. Now, but don't fear retirement. Take it as the next level in your life.
Yeah.
Plan something.
Yeah.
Plan something. Have a plan. What do I do when I retire?
Yeah.
For example, I said, well, I still serve in the Holy Trinity Board, Holy Trinity Hospital Board, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees of the Academy of Medical Sciences of Nigeria, which is a very big something. I still serve my community in Ijebu as chairman of the primary care project that we have there. All right. Even from here in Philadelphia, hold occasional meetings with them over there. Now, these are things that will keep you busy. But at the same time, the plan that you must have must bring you some little income. Look at the income that is likely to come,
right,
and how you will be able to sustain yourself.
Yeah. And
of course, it is not when you're about to retire that you think of, I should have trained my children this way or that way. You should be training your children from the beginning. So that by the time you get to retirement age, whatever contribution they can make to your life, they can make to like I'm enjoying my children now. They are contributing a lot to my life. They're making me and my wife very comfortable, even though they are all struggling to do their best. You know, we are trying to be comfortable. So I think for those who are coming, just have a plan for your life. Some people go into church ministration as preparation towards it. So, but the most important thing is have a little plan for your life and stay healthy. Do your best and stay healthy. Because one of the things that will bother you is when you retire, you want to keep looking. Thinking about death. You know, for as much as there is life, there is hope. All right? So plan for your retirement.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I think 2 more questions for me. And first, I just want to acknowledge some of the chats from Dr. Enwuchola. He said he taught me at both undergrad and postgraduate. He's a great mentor who instilled the passion to study oral pathology. He's also a very good family man with a very lovely family. So those are some of your accolades. Collect all of your flowers. Yeah. You've talked a lot about your mentors, but I'm curious to know, who's a student or a mentee you would never forget and why? That must be a hard question for you, because
it's not hard. I just don't want them to be jealous of each other, because I think I love all my children equally. But there is a particular mentee that I will never forget, and I will tell you why. Her name is Professor Olajumoke Ajibola Effiong. Why do I take particular interest in her? Her father, late Professor Akrimisi, was instrumental to my coming into dentistry. And the man did not know me from Adam.
Oh, wow.
All right. And then before the man died, he handed over the daughter and said, look, everything that you are doing, even though she's a lady, I want you to help her and encourage her to do. And the lady studied dentistry, studied oral pathology. She's now a professor of oral pathology.
Wow.
And she's one of those organizing my birthday and the book launch.
Yeah.
So I can't. All my other mentees, I beg you, don't get angry. Don't be envious of
them. There's enough love to go around.
Because there's enough love I have for all of you.
Yes. And we feel it. You feel it. Now, where can people find your book?
Why?
Where can they find your book? Like, where can they find it to buy it?
Well, what the children have put in place is you can pre-order.
Okay.
Right? It will be shipped to you. That is before July 7th. You can come on that day or book launch in Lagos and in Abertown here. And to the book launch and buy. And even after the book launch, you can order and it will be shipped for you. I think all the other form also are on the internet. Well, we don't want to talk about any company because the experience that was shared with me was that some of these companies, you don't easily get.
Yeah, they have issues.
You have to really struggle to get anything out of it. Whereas a lot of money goes into getting the manuscript as well as the book itself.
Yeah.
So I think these are all that people can either get in touch with me or get in touch through the messages that the children will send into the various websites, and I think we will make everything available. All right. In addition to that.
Yeah. And the kids are very active in it. The link to the pre-order form will be put on LinkedIn either later today or Monday. So check either Tokoya Odukoya's or Malaya's LinkedIn, or even Professor Odukoya's LinkedIn. They will have that link on there. Thank you so much, Alithia, for that. So I'm done with all of my questions. Are there any final parting words you would like to leave with our listeners today as we round off?
I bless you all in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
May the Lord bless you. You have peace in your life. You have joy in your life. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much. First of all, to your daughter, Tokwe, for facilitating this, and also the team behind putting all of this together. Kudos to all of you. This has been a wonderful time, just learning more about not just your personal achievements, but all you've done so far in lifting others, in building institutions, and creating lasting impact that extends far beyond, our individual careers. You talked about your story of loss. Despite all life has thrown at you, you found a way to make meaning out of it. You went from a student to a mentor, from someone who's dedicated their life to the profession to an author now and of your own biography. And I also think it's very nice to hear in a world that often, celebrates quick wins and instant successes. Your marriage of 45 years, your decades of academic excellence, and your commitment and the heart you still have for Nigeria, despite, the cynic, in me. I think you've shown us what sustained excellence truly looks like. And I just want to thank you so much. You can find his book again on their LinkedIn page. There's a pre-order link that'll be put on later today on Monday. So you can have that book directly shipped to you. It has a lot of gems about Prof and his story and, everything that has shaped his life today. And I think there's so much we can take out of, especially his story of resilience and what transformative leadership looks like. And even showing up, even though he talked about destiny, which I think definitely plays a lot in his life. But I also think about the times he showed up, the times he spoke up and said, hey, I can do this, or behind the scenes doing all of that and learning more about research and all of that, building up to whenever he got to Harvard and find out that you're so advanced that we can even put you up as a TA. Those are things we can learn from his story. So for our listeners, if this conversation moved you, if it challenged you, if it inspired you to think differently about leadership, mentorship, or legacy, please share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to the More Sibyl Podcast for more conversations like this with remarkable individuals who are shaping our world through their expertise, wisdom, and commitment to service. Until next time, I remain your humble host, Mo, and thank you all for listening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thank you so much, Prof. I'll see you on the other side of the conversation.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.